Welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the energy level. I have just finished work and I've recorded this 3 times before going to work. But it just doesn't want to render. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at UFC 308, Topuria versus Holloway. The champ, Topuria, versus the challenger, Max Holloway. We're going to be looking at the whole card, don't you worry. I'm taking a look at all of it. Finally, a decent card. Of course it's a decent card. It's in Abu Dhabi. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? A decent card in Abu Dhabi. They have all the money. First up, we've got Bruno Silva versus Ismail Naradiev? Sure, why not? Naradiev. Bruno Silva's washed. He got IPO KO'd by Chris Weidman. He got dominated by Weidman. He got held against the fence by Weidman. I'm picking against Bruno Silva. I think Bruno Silva gets destroyed. I think he's over the hill. I think it's over. The career's done. Pack it up. Get gone. So that means Ismail Naradiev gets the win. Next up, Ibo Aslan. I've picked Ibo Aslan before. He didn't let me down. Probably going to pick him again because Rafael Caquera. Sorry about that. Rafael Caquera. He's 11-0, but he's 11-0 in Brazil in a bunch of venues that maybe I'm not too familiar with. But we're going for a theme. You're going to notice the theme as we go through these prelims. So yeah, we're going to go with Ibo Aslan. I think he gets it done. I think he's just going to be more well-rounded, and I think he can go. I think he lasts better in 3 rounds as well. So we'll see. Next up, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. Leal? Who knows? We're going for Fakhretdinov, simply because, there's a V at the end of that name. He's got a pretty good record. And once again, I have chosen against the Brazilian. Why am I choosing against the Brazilians? Because not only do I think that America themselves has an oversaturated talent pool full of people who just wrestled in high school, I also feel as though Brazil suffers from a similar thing. In fact, let's just say it how it is. I think the new world fighters are worse than the old world fighters. So I'm willing to put that in all of my prediction videos going forwards. So yeah, for Kretinov, I think he wins. I think he defeats Carlos Leal easily, but we'll see. It's in Abu Dhabi, so as if they're going to that's like home turf for the Russians. No chance for the Daggies and the Russians. No chance. Farid Basharat versus Victor Hugo. Again, I'm picking Basharat. Basharat is a guy that I could see actually being a top contender, maybe even getting a belt one day. Victor Hugo, I don't see that in his future. I don't see much of a future for Victor Hugo. Just another guy who probably is just taking up a spot in the UFC that someone else could be taking. Moving on. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. We all love Chris Barnett. But at some point you've just got to accept that he's a fluky fat guy. Okay? He gets the fluky wins because he's a fat guy. So yeah, sure, he's got some good clips. We've all seen the TikToks, the Kung Fu Panda TikToks, the edits, we've all seen them. Is he going to do any of that to Kennedy Nzechukwu? Probably not. I'm going to be honest, probably not. Kennedy Nzechukwu is massive. He's way bigger than him. Chris Barnett's like my height. Chris Barnett's like 5'8", 5'10", 5'9", some shit like that. He doesn't belong there. He's just a fat guy. Okay? He's just a fat guy with some flexibility. That's it. Kennedy Nzechukwu, brilliant boxing. Some holes in his game could be exploited. Not by Chris Barnett, though. So, Kennedy Nzechukwu, fairly confidently. Chris Barnett needs to lose some weight. I know he's just had his house demolished by a hurricane, so I'm not trying to, insult the dude. Because, he got his house he got his shit rocked by Mother Nature, So, I suppose he could use the paycheck of the win, really, but I don't think he's going to get it. No, I don't think he's going to get it. There's too much going on in the mental of Chris Barnett right now as well. So, yeah, I'm picking against them. Kennedy Nzechukwu gets the W. I reckon by knockout. I could see a knockout. Next up, Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferrier. Ferrier. I'm going with Bruno Ferrier. I know I've just given you a little dialogue a few minutes ago about how all the new world fighters are terrible compared to the old world fighters. Well, sometimes you've got to contradict that, because just because there's a saturated talent pool doesn't mean that there aren't some guys who actually make it. And Bruno Ferrier, in my opinion, is a guy that could potentially be one of the ones that makes it. Abus Magomedov, yeah, he's credentialed. I just don't see him doing it. So, yeah, I'm gonna pick Bruno Ferrier, the only Brazilian I'm picking on the cards, just so you know. So yeah, Bruno Ferrier. Next up, Maitabek Orobai versus Mateus Rebecki. Fuck. Orobai versus Mateus Rebecki. I'm not even going to try and say Orobai's first name. I can't pronounce it. We're going with Orobai. Okay, he's going to do it. He's going to do it for all of Mongolia. I'm picking Mongolian steps wrestling versus Polish power. I'm picking the Mongolian step wrestling over Polish power. Easy peasy. I think Orobai gets it done. He's got the blood of Genghis Khan flowing through his veins. I think he's going to lose to Polish power. Not a chance. No variant of Polish power can stop step wrestling. Next up, Jeff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. I'm picking Jeff Neal. I'm sure you could guess by the fact that I said I'm not picking any more Brazilians on this card. Rafael dos Anjos, RDA, is fucking 40. Okay, he's 40 years of age. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. So is Jeff Neal, but Jeff Neal's like 32. Jeff Neal still has time to bounce back and maybe climb rank and make a little name. I mean, I suppose he got a name. Everyone knows who Jeff Neal is because he's 40 and Gary. But even still, RDA is 40. He's not making any improvements at 40. Okay, let's just put that out there. It's not happening. Okay, we're picking Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal did okay against Ian Gary, someone that people think is going to be a highlight in his division. So, yeah. Next up, Shahrabullet Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Do you think the Abu Dhabi Commission, is going to let Shahrabullet, the next superstar from that region of the world, lose? It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. I know everyone's seen the holes in his game. Man can't grapple. Man hasn't looked particularly amazing inside of the UFC. Hasn't had any of those spectacular finishes he had outside the UFC within the UFC. Of course, it's a higher level of competition. But that does worry people, right? Surely that's a red flag for people. Even so, I don't think they'll let him lose. Even if it goes to a decision, I don't think he loses a decision ever in Abu Dhabi. I think Armen Petrosyan will have to... I think Armen's going to have to knock him out or choke him out to beat him, and I don't think he's going to. I think they'll stand it up fairly quickly. I think, put it this way, in Abu Dhabi, I don't think you see any of these Russian wrestlers get stood up ever until Shara goes down, and then it's going to get stood up every 2 seconds. That's what I'm seeing right now. So I'm picking Shahrabullet. I'm picking him by decision. I don't think he gets the knockout. He's struggling to find those finishes in the UFC at the highest level. And I think he's going to continue to struggle to find the finishes at the highest level. Shahrabullet by decision. Next up, the main event, the main card, if you will. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Alexander Rakic is the underdog. Probably a bigger underdog than he should be. Alexander Rakic's got the style to beat Ankalaev. He's got the style to beat him. I just don't think he gets it done. Magomed, if I could say his name, Ankalaev is happy to have a boring fight if it means a win. Ankalaev is happy not to take risks. He's happy to make it a boring fight. And I think it's that willingness in his home turf. So, it's going to go his way. The ref even isn't going to stand them up. Nice and easy. So he's not going to separate them on the fence. which is where I see this fight going. It's just going to be a hug against the fence kind of fight. So, yeah. I'm going to go with Magomed Ankalaev to get a boring decision over Alexander Rakic. I think Rakic could potentially finish Ankalaev, but I just don't see it happening. I think Ankalaev probably just stalls out the fight and just does enough to win. Yeah, I'm picking Magomed Ankalaev by decision. Next up, Lerone Murphy versus Danny Ige. As you very well know, new world fighters are not as good as old world fighters. And I'm not just saying that because Lerone Murphy's repping England, repping the UK. Okay? I'm saying that because, quite simply, Lerone Murphy is the kryptonite style for Danny Ige. Danny Ige is very good fundamentally, which means he can exploit fighters who aren't very good fundamentally, who throw these wild haymakers, these kind of wild strikers who try and make something happen, try and force the action and make something happen, and he exploits them because he's good at the fundamentals. Lerone Murphy is a style that is the same, except it exploits people who are good at the fundamentals. So Lerone Murphy is a style designed to counter Danny Ige's style. It's a style that's like, if you're going to stick to the fundamentals, I know how to get around those, and I can punish you for sticking to them. So I think it's a no-brainer. I think Lerone Murphy gets it done. Not simply because he's from England, which is definitely a big factor, I won't lie. But it has to be done. Lerone Murphy, I think he gets it done. I think he may even finish Danny Ige. Danny Ige's a tough guy, but I could see a late second round finish for Lerone Murphy. Just follows him down, TKOs him. Who knows? Now we get to the stressful fights, okay? Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. A banger of a fight. I'm extremely worried for Rob. I'm extremely worried for Khamzat as well, though, to be fair. Khamzat hasn't fought in like a year. He's been sick, he's been injured, he's had visa issues, he's been sick again, and he's been sick again. He's a very ill person at the minute. Every fight he's had in recent memory has been kind of lackluster on his end, and there's always been an excuse like, oh, he broke his hand in round one, in the first seconds of round one. Oh, he went in there with a cold. He's got the disease, the illness that shall not be named on YouTube. Sounds like a beverage they drink on Fast and Furious. He's got the long version of that. So they say it's still in his lungs. So they say. So he's had a rough time of it. And there's been a lot of excuses for him looking lackluster. And yeah, he's 13-0. But what it really comes down to is, will Khamzat Chimaev finish Robert Whittaker inside of 2 rounds? Or Robert Whittaker wins a decision, right? Surely that's how it goes. It's in Abu Dhabi though, isn't it? So are they going to let Khamzat lose a decision in Abu Dhabi? Probably not. It's well known, it's well established now based on his previous fights that Khamzat's really dangerous in round one. Like the very start of round one, he kind of blitzes. He can stand up as well. It's not as good as not as good technically as people would make it out to be. He's just a strong dude. He's just a strong, powerful dude, and if he put hands on you, you feel it. But Whittaker's tough. Whittaker's felt some powerful shots from some powerful dudes. The question is, has Khamzat? No, because Dricus did it. Because Dricus did it to Whittaker, and he finished him fairly quickly. I think it was in the second or third round, which is what we're predicting for Khamzat. I'm going to pick Khamzat. I was going to pick Whittaker to win it by decision. I think he'd get 3, 4, and 5. But it's a 5-round fight. That's going to be difficult for Khamzat if he is still ill, like he claims. But no, if Dricus du Plessis can do it, I see no reason why Khamzat Chimaev couldn't do it. I hope my brain says Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm going with my brain, but my heart says Robert Whittaker. I want Rob to win and derail the hype train. But yeah, we'll see. I'm picking Khamzat Chimaev to finish Robert Whittaker in the first 2 rounds. The final fight, the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Tough fight to call. It's another one where my heart wants to pick Max Holloway. I'm a fan of Max. He's got that warrior bloodline, that warrior spirit within him. He came off an impressive fight against Justin Gaethje, but Justin Gaethje isn't the same type of fighter as Ilia Topuria. It was a weight class up. He had the speed advantage. Ilia Topuria is going to be faster than Max Holloway. Max Holloway famously doesn't do well against fighters that are shorter than him. Max Holloway's arms are tiny. I don't know. It's a tough one. Because Ilia's going to kick the legs from Max. He's going to be kicking that leg all night long because Max is going to have that squat and wide stance to try and keep himself level because his arms are too short. Who knows? Maybe his body's too long and his arms are too short. Who could say? Here's a crazy one for you. What about Max Holloway by submission? Max Holloway's got like 2 submissions in his whole career. But I'm fairly sure they're both against shorter opponents. I think they're both guillotines as well. I'm going to go look really quickly and make sure I'm not chatting absolute nonsense. He's got 2 submissions. 2 submissions. I'm clever, me. I know these things. Alright, one was a rear naked choke and one was a guillotine. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. No, it was a guillotine, yeah. Oh, 2 guillotines. Yeah, both by guillotine. Told you so. That's what you get for doubting me, loser. Yeah, he's won 2 fights by guillotine really, really early on in his career. Like, early on, but 2014, looks like. Yeah, 2014 and 2015, respectively, finishes by guillotine. Picture this, okay? Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway go to war for like 3 rounds. And we get into the 4th, and Ilia Topuria is throwing those tired, those tired tactless shots, we'll call them. When you get tired and you start to lose the finesse and you start to lose the skill and you kind of leave your chin out there and you're lunging in, trying to get it finished. Max Holloway's pouring on the pressure. He's hitting Volk. Max Holloway's putting on the pressure. He's hitting Ilia to the body. Every time he gets close to landing some slick combinations, Ilia fends him off with a big, powerful shot. Ilia Topuria is definitely going to have the power advantage, in my opinion. Ilia Topuria will mix it up with the takedowns, even if he's not going to wrestle, At no point do I think Ilia Topuria is going to like point to the canvas and be like, come and get me like Max did with Dustin. I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, Max would be a fool for taking that challenge. I don't think he should do it. Really, the way I see it going is I think Ilia Topuria probably wins the decision if Max Holloway doesn't get the finish in rounds 4 or 5. I think Ilia Topuria dominates on the scorecards because of it. I could see a 10-8 in round 1 that Max Holloway barely survives and then like comes back and rallies in round 2, but then it gets snatched away again. Round 3, he just kind of takes it off to recover, and he puts it all on the line for 4 and 5, and he starts seeing success. The way I could see it going, the way my imagination's telling me, the way the vision has just struck my brain, Ilia Topuria is getting tired. He's fending off Max Holloway in late round 4, early round 5, mid round 5. He's shooting the takedowns to mix it up. He kind of lunges in with a crazy overhand takedown kind of deal, like old school style, just to kind of shake Max up, but Max is ready for it. And he slips right into a guillotine. And he's too tired to fight out of it, right? No. If Max Holloway wins by guillotine in that fashion, I'll be shocked. But no, it's got to be Ilia Topuria, right? It's got to be Ilia. It's just going to be faster. He's going to be more powerful than Max. Max is coming down a weight class, which isn't farewell for him historically. Not that he's not good at the weight class, but moving back down to it, he seems to struggle with in the past. So it's a tough one, but I'm probably going to go with Ilia Topuria. Max Holloway by guillotine in round 4 or round 5 would be funny. If it happens, I'll laugh. But no, I think Ilia Topuria probably gets the decision. I don't think he finishes Max Holloway like people think. I think if Max Holloway survives round 1, he doesn't get finished. And the fight gets more difficult for Ilia as the fight goes on, but I think cardio-wise, they're both going to be quite well matched. I think they're both going to get tired at the same pace. Max does have an incredible output, but I think against Ilia, you're going to see a lot less of that, just because of the danger in Ilia's strike, and he hits a lot harder. And I think you'll see Max Holloway taste the power of Ilia and fade away. And I think from that point, Ilya takes the fight. Well, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, leave us a like. Subscribe for more content just like this. I got some tier list videos that are pretty funny too. You can go check out if you're looking for something a little bit more lighthearted. Until next time, guys, peace and love. Keep your chin down and keep swinging. I'll see you around.